Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean Ultra Deep Summer Blue. That's a lot to take in, but this is a lot of watch. In 2019, Omega and an experimental watch bottomed in the Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean. In 2022, we got the 6,000 meter Ultra Deep inspired by that prototype, and for 2023, the Ultra Deep gets the summer blue treatment. So we have this vivid color scheme as well as some Easter eggs we'll talk about in just a moment. So the watch is large. It is part of the Ultra Deep line, so 45.5 millimeters in diameter in nickel-free, highly anti-corrosive and non-allergenic Omega steel. So it's thick at 18.3 millimeters thick. There's no getting around that. Lug-to-lug, just the case. It's 52 millimeters. Add the end links to the bracelet. 55.2 with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. And although it is not a visible metric, I have put this watch on my scale, and its mass is 254.81 grams, which blows past a half pound. Taking it and putting it on my wrist, I'm actually surprised how much I like it. It wears better than I thought it would be. This is where I expected to say, oh, if you like a big pilot's watch or a 48 millimeter Roy Locoff. Nope, I would actually wear this. I'm not sure I would wear it as a daily. It would be a weekend watch, a beach watch, maybe a party watch, but I can definitely see a world in which this would be excusable on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, at least situationally. It does not look comical. It does not look completely out of sorts. It is super thick, though, so don't expect to clear any kind of a cuff. You're more likely to wear it over a dive suit than under anything. I would say if you want to wear it with no doubts about proportion, go with a 17 centimeter circumference wrist, but your eyes don't lie. This actually did look pretty decent. Bracelet, very familiar, but also very secure. We talk a lot about the strength of Rolex bracelets, even though Omega bracelets are just as good, and the solidity, the quality, the detailing, the breaks between the polish and the satin, the thoughtfulness, the execution. You can see it's all really well considered. We've got removable links fixed by screws. You can see we've got an intermediate size link in there in case the standard size leaves you sort of in between. And then we've got a couple of different elements inside the clasp where I have a push button slider. And that gives me quite a bit of adjustability. But then I also have a fold-out dive extension. And so I can fine-tune the fit, but I can also all or nothing it over a dive suit. And it's very, very solid. All these pieces feel like they were made by gunsmiths. Taking a quick look at the external clasp, you can see it's got sort of some soft facets that are appealing, as well as a combination of satin and polish. It's a great looking bracelet. Taking a look at the case, fairly simple, although I do appreciate that the lyre style lugs here are rendered a little bit differently than on other Seamasters. You can see that we've got the inner bevel, the outer bevel, and the outer bevel is a polish that runs from one end to the other. We've got a screw down crown with a combination of brushed satin, polish, and media blast. It is a screw down, make no mistake here. What's interesting is that we've got a watch that has no helium escape valve and yet is rated for saturation diving, recalling something that Omega did in the 70s with the original Ploprofs, which is the idea that if you have a watch that is super duper secure, this is something we've also seen on Seiko family products, if helium cannot get into the watch, then it stands to reason that helium need not egress. So the idea is just have a super hermetically tight watch, sealed beyond belief, so helium gas can't get in during saturation diving, so you don't need a helium escape valve for it to get out. The case back, oddly, is a different material. It's made of grade 5 titanium, and you can see the way it's assembled. It's actually a two-piece case back, unless I'm mistaken, and you can see right there the lore of the Seamaster with the famed hippocampus or seahorse. And a thing about this 6,000 meter rating, this is an ISO 6425-2018 diver, which means whatever the number on the dial is, it's been tested to 125% of that individually. Not a homologation model, this exact watch and everyone like it. We have a nice chunky bezel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a 160 click. With a really light action. it feels and sounds great. You can see the knurling is both matte and polished, that we've got a ceramic insert, and we have the lovely summer blue cyan elements. Now, the dial has a little bit of a ripple to it. Is it the ripple of the surface? Is it the rippling of the sand on the ocean bottom? You can use your imagination, but what I'm going to show you now is that the watch has more than its fair share of lume, and that the minute hand and the bezel pearl are differentially lumed, so you can read these two critical reference points relative to each other at a glance. Now, what you also see is that all three hands are lumed, which means it has something that not every dive watch has, which is the ability to confirm it is running even in the dark. Now, let me see if I can get this thing right. Ah, there we go. Okay. There's an Easter egg here. See where it says Omega was here, 10,935 meters. You see the western, central, and eastern pools of the Mariana Trench. By the way, this thing is going to be glowing like mad. But you can see that it's only visible, these little scrawls on the dial. I'm doing my best to show you. See if this thing has a higher... Okay, there's a higher setting now. These scrawls on the dial are only visible under strong UV light. That's the best I've got. And you can see that once the UV goes away, there's absolutely no perceiving them. It's got a lovely dial ripple and a lovely gradient color, though. You can see all applique indices and quarter Arabic numerals, no date dial, and I think that was the right choice. Probably thins the watch a little bit, and my goodness, does this watch need it. We have an independently mobile hour hand, so you can jump time zones as you're wearing this watch, and it won't displace the seconds and or the minutes. Pull the crown out, it activates hacking seconds, and the setting is very firm and secure. The crown doesn't wobble on its stem. It's actually a very impressive assembly. So you've got hacking, you've got the time zone function, and underneath the case back you have caliber 8912. Bidirectional automatic winding, 2 barrels in series, a 60-hour power reserve, stop seconds, time zone function, coaxial escapement that uses tangential rather than sliding friction. Tangential is less. 39 joules. It's got a beat rate of 25,200 vibrations per hour, which is largely defined by the silicon hairspring. That's a rate that Swatch Group uses across brands for silicon hairsprings. Silicon hairspring, anti-magnetic balance, balance staff, and escapement, anti-magnetic to over 15,000 Gauss or 1.5 Tesla, which is part of the master chronometer test that tests winding efficiency, power reserve, water resistance, shock resistance, anti-magnetism, and fully assembled watch chronometry to make sure it runs no worse than -0 plus 5 seconds per 24 hours. So METAS, created with the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, is a higher standard than COSC. It meets all the COSC standards, but then it goes beyond. We've got a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance for shock resistance. And then again, we have that anti-magnetic hairspring so that the watch can effectively be amagnetic. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.